1991, 6 to 7 years old. I remember my sister wanted Nintendo really bad for Christmas. My mom bought her a Nintendo and she was very excited. I used to enjoy watching her play all the time when she first got it. I used to get excited and jump on the couch. However, I wasn't interested in actually playing it until my sister taught me. My sister decided to teach me, and once I learned, I was hooked. I soon had a new obsession, and it was playing Nintendo. Even though it was an obsession, there was something unusual about this obsession. It was actually something that other people were interested in too, but nonetheless, I was obsessed. Super Mario Bros. Was my favorite game and I played it daily. I often got very frustrated when I died. I used to scream and cuss really loud. I used to yell shit and fuck all the time. My neighbors would often hear me. My mom decided to put Tabasco sauce on my lips as a punishment to help me stop swearing, but it didn't really stop me. Tabasco sauce hurt and burned my lips so bad that it lasted for 20 minutes and it seemed like an hour. During that time, I would scream and cuss and storm even more because of the pain. My obsession of playing video games started increasing to an extreme height within 3 months of the year 1991. I loved playing them so much that not only I beat all the games I had, but I often pretended to play video games while riding on the bus. I often pretended my finger was Mario and that I would jump over all the highways and road entrances and pretended they were pits. I started having beautiful dreams about the characters and objects like the mushrooms, and that made me even more interested. I used to sit on the video games because I wanted to feel the joy of being part of everything in that video game. I became obsessed with Mario. I remember when my mom bought me my first Mario shirt, and from that point, during the spring when I had it, I started wearing Mario shirts religiously. Whenever I had to wear something nice for an important occasion and couldn't wear one, I got very upset. Whenever I wore a shirt and felt I was connected to Mario and other stuff in the game, it gave me a fantastic feeling like ecstasy. I started to draw Mario and replicate the images perfectly. I started when I drew the game cover of Super Mario 3. After that, I started drawing other images of Mario. I could draw the images upside down or free-handedly. People were awed by my artistic skills. However, I didn't like the compliments. It made me feel singled out. Ever since I started going to school when I was little, I always went to a special needs school. I always rode a short bus there. I didn't exactly like it because I always wished I rode a normal long school bus like my sister. I, however, enjoyed the long rides along the countryside. I enjoyed looking at all the power lines. Many of the kids in the classes had very severe disabilities. I, however, didn't really see them as any different than other people. I, however, always wondered why I went to these kind of schools then instead of what my sister went to. Once I turned 7, my teachers and parents decided that I should try to start first grade at a normal school. I started first grade that fall of 1991, and went to a normal school. I was really nervous about starting first grade because I knew it was going to be a big change in my life and I didn't know what to expect. I was afraid my teachers were going to be very strict. The first day went well and I realized it wasn't so bad. I, however, never enjoyed school. I didn't really understand the value of learning things such as math and reading. I used to throw fits and swear in class whenever we had to do schoolwork. I felt like everything I had to learn in school was pointless. I hated reading and spelling. I didn't understand why some words were spelt differently than how they sounded by the letters. I didn't understand about silent E, PHs, and other ways that, in other forms of language, sentence structures, and word contents. One time I said to my mom, whoever invented this word, I want to put them in jail. I had an aide work with me for the next 3 grades. She was great help in regards to helping me learn my schoolwork. I, however, didn't like having an aide because I felt like I was different and stood out from the norm, stood out from the crowd. And this made me hate myself even more. I misbehaved a lot in school. My aide and my teachers would discipline me by grabbing my hands and arms and then press my head down on the desk. I noticed certain disciplines, such as the method that my teacher often gave me a false impression that they were my enemies instead of people who were caringly trying to help me. I found that whenever my teachers yelled, put my head down, or grabbed appendages, I would often want to act out more, and that made me misbehave more. I misbehaved in school mainly because I felt different. In spite of my bad behavior, the students were really nice to me, and I was well liked. Everyone admired my uniqueness and creativity. Students loved my artistic talent, my interest in Mario, how well I drew Mario, and my sense of humor. I was really funny in class. I often cracked jokes in the middle of class, and the class would laugh. When we used to sing during music class, I often didn't sing along but made funny noises instead. For some reason, singing made me feel odd because I didn't like the sound of my voice. Sometimes I showed the entire class my underwear because it had Mario on it, and I pretended it contained magical powers. I often swore a lot in school. One time my sister told me something that I didn't like on the school bus, and I yelled, "Shut up, bitch," and everybody laughed. I often got in trouble for what I did, but I didn't care. Even though I made friends in class and enjoyed being around them, I was never really interested in making friends. I was never interested in playing with friends and doing things that most people my age often did. I wasn't interested in sports, dinosaurs, G.I. Joe toys, or cartoons. Whenever I was forced to spend time with people my age, I often got bored and tried to ditch them. Luckily, most people didn't take my ditching personally and understood I wasn't trying to be mean on purpose. After school, I often went over to my dad and stepmom's house because my mom worked late. I didn't like going there. My dad and my stepmom were stricter than my mom, and I felt like I couldn't do whatever I wanted. I wanted to build power lines in their yard and play Nintendo, but I couldn't. I thought their yard was boring. They always tried to keep their yard nice with beautiful plants and flowers. I thought that was dumb for some reason. I often sat around bored and waited for my mom.